So I presented at a conference this weekend, and this is really sort of the modern age and just getting your stuff wired to gain exposure. You want to gain exposure. You want to choose something, get good at it, and one of the ways you can be successful is to gain exposure. So no matter what field you're in, you want people to know you. You're in real estate, you want people to go, oh, that person's solid in real estate. When they Google realtor for Fresno, you want to come up. When they Google, accident attorney, you want to come up. Fresno accident attorney, or whatever it is you're doing. Surgeon, you want to come up. Okay, this is a legit surgeon. Not necessarily for the clients. That'll reassure the clients, right? But also for, right, like you're going and it's like, I have a friend who's like a orthopedic surgeon. He was in the military. By the way, you're at the community college and you might be struggling a little bit with like, making things happen. The military is an outstanding opportunity. Granted, you might take a bullet to the head, right? But the probability of that is pretty low. It's only like 2% of the military, which is actually, facing, bullets, even less probably now. And if you go into the military track, they have outstanding training. And they'll take you and give you a lot of responsibility, and they'll work you hard. You won't have a choice about it because you'll no longer be a free citizen. You will be property of the United States government, and they will use you as they will. And people have had horrible experiences in the military. I knew another dude who was like the guy in the aircraft carrier who cleaned the windshields on the fighter jet. Well, that sucks. You're not getting a lot of valuable skills out of that. But if you go in and you're smart and you can get yourself into a good track, like I had one student who was a translator, learned Arabic in like 6 months, and now he's like an expert in the Arabic language in like 2 years, and was working security, just translating communications that were in Arabic. And so my friend who's an orthopedic surgeon went through the military, and the military paid for all of his stuff, and then he had to do his duty and did a couple of years in the military, and so he was a surgeon over during the war, and now he's back here. And, he gets hired, he got hired at like $700,000 a year. And so it's like having, experience is great. The military is this is a tangent. The military is a great route. If you could get in and get into something where you're not a grunt soldier, but train you some skills. So if you go in after like 2 years of school, that's good, right? You've already got some base. If you go in after your bachelor's, even better. Because after your bachelor's, you're automatically an officer. You're not going to be grunt, and they'll take you and train you in something. Like if you study comp sci, get on some sort of GI program, and then like help them pay for college, and then go do duty, and then they train you even more. Ooh, pretty cool, man. Good experience. But anyhow, that's the way he did it. And the point being is you want to gain as much exposure as possible, even if you're a surgeon. So when you're looking for that job, it's like, wow, this guy's really high profile. He presents at a lot of conferences. Like, I have 1,100 videos up here, and the amount of people who've watched my videos, it's kind of nuts. And this is just like only in 9 months. 183,000 people have watched these videos. And I was, just chatting with some dude, Yuri. Where did I find people? Search Twitter. Yuri. Where are you, Yuri? Rio just sent me his email. Let me see it. Hold on. Rio, Angular contact. There we go. So I was just chatting with this dude. I got to follow him. There, cool. I wasn't following him. And this weekend I'm at a conference, and then I'm like, oh, I totally need an Angular contact. I know that doesn't mean anything to you. But this guy's a Google developer expert in Angular. And so then I'm like, okay, let me send him a message. So I go over here, and I'm like, well, what do you know? In this great big world of 7 billion people, back in June, he was asking me questions, right? Because I had all these videos, right? And then I went to this conference, and I saw this guy, and I thought, oh, sweet, he's a GDE expert in Angular, Google developer expert in Angular. So I think, okay, because I presented at this conference right here, GDG DevFest, and so here are all the speakers, right? And here's Yuri, and I saw his talk. Part of it I had to leave. There I am, right? But Yuri, I was like, oh man, that was a cool talk. I want to talk to that guy because he knows Angular so well. I want to go talk to him. We have already been talking. Like, what a trip is that, right? But so I emailed him some information and a possible opportunity. So the point being, though, is you want to get as much exposure. And I used to not do this, but now I've got Twitter wired up. I've got Facebook, I've got YouTube, and so like when I put a new video on YouTube, it posts to Google+, it posts to Twitter, right? I'm telling people when I go and I present places, hey, and you could also follow me on Google+ and Twitter. and that's going to help you, stay in contact with the new videos I'm putting out. I make all these videos, right? And so that's the point of that story is just like, that's the way the world is. And then I wanted to share with you this because I know we talked about making money, and I started a new course on Wednesday. I just launched this one on Wednesday, and I launched it on Wednesday because I wanted to get it open at the conference before I went up there, and already like 369 people have enrolled, and I made $2,455 at $9 a head, and then the company takes their cut. But like, wow, that's pretty sweet, right? A little extra money, diversify. So anyhow. I changed my banner here so it's like more code oriented, so people come here and they're like, oh, this guy's really into code. That's the picture that he has there. That's what I'm selling, right? That's kind of what I'm selling for my career, so I want that to be reflected. It's not me partying in a bikini or whatever your gender. That'd be really weird if it was me in a bikini partying. Unless, of course, I was like, the male supermodel for female bikinis. There's probably a niche market for that, in which case that would be the appropriate banner. Right, but then even here, right, like I fixed up my little deal down at the bottom, so it reflects a little bit more like, oh, hey, that looks pretty great. Like that's a little bit more solid than what I used to have. But just sort of putting your best foot forward kind of thing. And there's a lot more that I could do, right? Like my profile pictures, I should have a little bit more of a professional look, maybe. That's questionable in today's day and age, but so. That's the beginning. If you're watching this video, what we need to do in class, we're going to cover that in 1 second. I want to show video to everybody in here, and then we'll do that. All right, so what should you be doing this week? My IT lab, we'll come back to this here in a second. I'm just bring the course materials up. But here in assignments, we're in week 15. So you should be through all of your 14, week 1 through 14. That's a lot. And then 15, typing speed, screen resolution, aspect ratio, your computer's properties, your Oracle, and then some programming. And a paper, 1 page, totally casual, in your own words. Just this is what I got out of the last 3 weeks. So that's what you'll do there. And then there's the extra credit, and of course if you're in my online class, you want to post to the discussions, which isn't shown here. This is for my in-person class, that website. And then my IT lab, that was week 1. These were week 2, 3, 4, 5. This was through week 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. So the last PowerPoint is in here. I think there's just 2 PowerPoints. 2 PowerPoints. So do the last PowerPoint, then exams through the quiz 15. I don't think there is one, right? It's just through 13, so we're done with quizzes. And then also exams. You're done with all of your office lab tests, and I'll open this up maybe next week, and you can start taking the final, maybe the week after. So that's it for what you're doing. So let's talk about intellectual property. First of all, did anything I shared in the first, 25 minutes of class, was that worth your time? Raise your hand. Just curious. Not worth your time, raise your hand. Right? Either the social marketing or just the reflection on life and making the most of it. Cool. So a lot of people, half the people not raising their hands. So maybe I'll help you get your money's worth right here. So intellectual property. I almost want to break this into a new video. So we'll stop there.